We are back with more FF14. We're going to be going into the patch 5.1 now. 5.1? 6.1? Yeah, 5.1. Alright. You'd like to make out in a RAV4 with Riol, so you can call it the Ravrioli? Ravioli. That's good. It seems she's still examining them. Oh, I do hope it's nothing bad.
You're here. Good.
So, how are they?
Still locked in slumber, but otherwise in good physical health. For the present, at least.
For the present? Oh no, is something wrong with them?
I'm afraid there may be. I summoned you after detecting faint signs of instability in Thancred's corporeal ether. But subsequent examination suggested all 5 might be affected. And when I examined them just now, my fears were confirmed. Tellingly, the degree of instability varies between them. Thancred exhibits the most notable signs, followed by Y'shtola and Urianger. The twins' ether, meanwhile, remains relatively stable, but there is a change there too if one knows to look for it.
Hold on. Isn't that the order they were called away in?
Indeed. Which leads me to believe the instability will only increase with time. Though I can but speculate, I fear this may be a symptom of a weakening link between body and soul.
By the gods! What happens if the link is broken?
I cannot say for certain. This is all unknown territory to us. Yet whatever happens, it cannot be good. Mercifully, the instability is still only slight. And you may rest assured Master Matoya and I will do everything in our power to keep it from worsening. Be that as it may, it is imperative that you find a way to restore our friends' souls to their bodies.
Leave it to me.
Thank you.
But where's she even supposed to start? We had the greatest minds in the realm hunting high and low for an answer, and they ran out of places to look.
You stated in your report that the Exarch had originally intended to reverse the summoning process by means of his own death, correct? Raha always was a reckless young fool, ready to die for the first righteous cause that came along. His plan might well have worked, but I for one am glad he never had the opportunity to see it through. Even if it does mean our friends must remain stranded a while longer. There is another way, I am sure of it. And the key lies with him, with the Exarch. Pray return to the First and apprise him and the others of the situation. We, meanwhile, will do what we can from here. And, if the fates are kind, we will have good news to share upon your return.
You should see if the Sane can send you that clip of him describing the shitularity. Back to the first. Snap back to reality. Jeremy, if you went to the future and found out that Tiamat had beat the living shit out of your brother, what would you do? Ah, Miro, you are returned. I hope your time in the source was suitably restful. But of course it wasn't. Go on. The corporeal ether shows signs of instability. By the gods, the possibility never even occurred to me. If you have returned in the hope that my research has yielded a solution, I fear you will be sorely disappointed. 'Tis but a mercy we have the likes of Mistress Krile and Master Matoya to keep our friend's bodies safe while we wrestle with the problem. But they cannot forestall the separation of body and soul indefinitely. Come, the others must be told. You know what? He probably deserved it. Apparently Tiamat ate my brother and erased him from his own existence. Tiamat's like an Atomos. So, yeah.
Pray excuse my late arrival.
Will Thancred and Reen not be joining us?
Nay, milady. With apologies to all, they beg leave to pursue their investigation of the empty to its conclusion. Should matters here demand their presence, however, they did assure me that they would make themselves available.
Yes, of course. Then let us proceed. I think it best that you begin by providing a summary of Mistress Krile's findings.
I suppose it was only to be expected that some change would occur.
Yet our souls seem unaffected, to my eye at least. How long they will remain so is another question. Krile is right. It is imperative we find a way to return to the source.
Perhaps an explanation of the method by which I brought you here will yield some inspiration. Ere I begin, it must be noted that I am by no means a gifted mage. In order to employ powerful magics, I must rely upon the Crystal Tower and its boundless reservoirs of energy. The magic that summoned you was no exception. 'Tis a singular spell, adapted through painstaking effort from the technique that transported me to the first. To use an analogy, it works by cutting a hole in the fabric of reality. A hole tailored to the object of summoning, through which it and it alone may pass unscathed. Though I succeeded in creating said hole, I failed to latch onto my intended target. Instead of you, the spell found those close to you, and ended up summoning them in their incomplete state. I would not soon throw my life away, not after the lengths you and yours went to save it. And so long as I breathe, I will spare no effort to see you safely home. But should all else fail, and your lives be at stake, there remains one sure method.
Oh! What was that for?
entertain such thoughts? You owe your life to the Warrior of Light, and you don't get to die unless she says so.
Your followers await your divine judgment.
What did you just...
If the two of you have finished, perhaps we could return to our discussion? Rather than dwelling upon the multiple failed attempts at transference, I think it would behoove us to focus on the solitary's success. I would draw your attention to the fact that our friend can travel between worlds possessed not only of her body and soul, but her personal effects besides. This is no different from the teleportation magics to which we are all accustomed. Magics that allow for the transportation of those inanimate objects one considers to be an extension of oneself.
Are you suggesting that simply by considering us her possessions, she could carry our souls back to the source upon her person?
Well, it would be nice if things were that simple for a change. But vague notions of ownership seem a rather tenuous thing to stake our lives on. So much as a moment of doubt on her part and we'd be left floating in the rift.
Milady hath the right of it. The requisite fixity of belief would be too much to ask even of our friend. Yet were we to immure our souls within an object in her possession, mayhap then our safe passage could be assured. White Auracite would, I believe, serve as a suitable vessel for this purpose. It was conceived to imprison the massy soul of an Ascian, and should house one of ours with relative ease. We would need only to ensure our soul's safe preservation inside the stone, and identify a means by which they might be transferred back unto our vacant bodies.
Soul preservation and transference. I believe I know of someone who may be able to assist us. On the far shore of the source, there stands a great palace built by the elves. It was forsaken in the wake of the flood, but a certain Numo chose to make their home there soon after. Though they have long lived as a recluse, they once occupied a place of honor in Verbert's royal court, and it is said that none in all of Norvrant is more knowledgeable than they on matters of the soul.
Well, I've no objection to seeking a helping hand, but if they've gone to such lengths to hide themselves away from the world, what makes you think they'd be willing to lend us one?
A worthy question. Years ago, I myself tried and failed to solicit their cooperation in the battle against the Sin Eaters. No sooner had I begun to make my plea than they unleashed a swarm of their familiars upon me. Unlike me, however, you have curried favor with the Fae folk. By that merit alone, I am hopeful that they would grant you an audience. They may still be inclined to turn you away, of course, but if their knowledge might feasibly facilitate your return home, we have to try.
Alright, so we got a new weapon that we can get here. Augmented Crystarium Cane. Well, look at that. It's got a weather vane on it. What the fuck? Why is that a weapon? I don't know if I like that or hate it. A mage of surpassing skill, living a life of seclusion. Now where have I heard that before? One can only hope that they are more receptive to the unsolicited visitations. I'm sick and tired of the XIV's attempts at selfless sacrifice. If he suggests dying one more time, I swear I'm gonna grant him his wish. It is said that the kingdom of Vervet was once home to the realm's greatest knights and magics both. To command a place at the royal court, the new Mo, whom we seek, must needs have been a mage among mages. The new Mo seemed quite a welcoming folk in Ilmeg. Do you suppose, what are you supposed to go driven this one to a life of seclusion? That weapon's almost as good as a beetle staff, yeah. The Grand Cosmos, that is, the place we seek, stands on the opposite shore of the source. I will arrange for a boat to carry us there. Wilt thou journey us thither? I think it best that I devote mine energies to creation of white auracite. By thy leave, of course. The process requires no small amount of time, and should the Numo consent to lend us their aid, we will have need of a suitable vessel ere long. Agreed. Then I would ask the rest of you to meet me in Sullen, and do be prepared for a warm reception. I don't want to murder 4 civilians, runs over 4. I don't want to murder civilians, runs over 4 civilians. Ah, that game was great. Chat Discord didn't work. You want to play Battletech, but you don't really have time for that right now? Do you want to fart into a bag and see if Tiamat will sniff it? What if Tiamat did sniff it and then she leaned back and was like, ah, gathering up poo particles. Sleeping Dogs was a great time. Thank you for suggesting it, as I probably never would have gotten to it otherwise. So, we got a dungeon coming up here, guys, but we're not actually going to do this today. Reason being is we only have 13 minutes left to stream, so once we turn this in and I read it, we're going to go to the, back to Yulmore and check something. He said the palace is on the opposite shore, but I see nothing on the horizon save empty sky. Curious. The Exarch said to prepare for a warm reception at the palace. Let's hope it's more cordial than his last visit. I was relieved to hear the Exarch intended to arrange for a boat to carry us across the lake. Not that I was opposed to swimming, mind you. As I told you before, I had scarcely set foot on the palace grounds when I was set upon by the host's familiars, and I expect our reception today to be no different, which is why I propose we march to the main gate, weapons drawn. I'm sorry, but are we not here to petition for assistance? We can't honestly think barging in, looking for a fight is going to persuade them. Actually, I believe the Exarch might have the right of it. They have no doubt poured a great deal of time and energy into their creations. Were I them, should be most interested to meet with those who would overcome my defenses. As with any true seeker of knowledge, and there is little we could say or do to convince them to help us, if we knew nothing of their character. Or, nor less why they chose to hide themselves from the world. But if we can seize their interest, mayhap we can earn ourselves an audience. 10-gauge duel him. Do it. Weapons drawn it is, then. Though I must say, Exarch, you certainly seem to be enjoying all of this. Do I? Well, I will not deny that I enjoy the thought of fighting alongside you all rather than pacing about inside the Crystal Tower. You both seem to be in rather high spirits. If you ask me, not that I'm surprised, your moods invariably improve when Miro is around. What are you exactly implying? She averted a calamity, and the light which seemed destined to consume her has been extinguished. It is only natural that we are pleased to see her. Yes, well, you have plenty of time to celebrate her good health after we finish here. Of course, then let us proceed to the palace. The Grand Cosmos, now accessible. Okay, so this is, like I said, a dungeon that we're not going to do as we do not have time. Okay, so let's go in here and I will at least read the bit to you. Long ago, on the far shore of the source, a great palace was built by the elves. The Grand Cosmos, an edifice for such magnitude, it was said to inspire envy in both the heavens for which it was named and the flowers that pervade its boundless gardens. As with so many wonders of the world that once was, its radiance quickly faded in the wake of the flood. Its halls falling silent, the throne sitting empty. That is until the palace was given new purpose when a mage claimed it as their sanctuary. Their only company being solace, solitude, and the legion of familiars barring answers to any foolish enough to seek an audience. Like I said, we'll do that later. For now, we're going to teleport to Yulmore, where I shall shit and you guys shall watch. Fudging bull poo. Hope you choke on those points. That's sound. Look, guys, I can buy tombstone gear now. It's time. So, here's the item level 500 stuff. But we don't want item level 500. We want better than 500. We want 530. So let's grab this chest piece. Crypt Lurker's Robe of Healing. Alright, we'll grab shoes. And go. There. There's our new outfit. This set is actually fairly popular because they call it the Dark Souls set because a lot of the gear kind of looks Dark Soulish to people. For example, if I go to like Discipline of War here, the tank set. Here's the hat. Got a very Dark Souls feel to it. People like it. I think I might be DCing. Definitely DCing. None of these in. Yep, there we go. Saw that coming. Great. Well, this seems like an optimal time to finish the stream anyway, so guys, YouTube, thank you for viewing.